Good day everyone, it's Dex here and welcome back to another video on this channel where this time I will do a formation tier list. So basically we're gonna go through every formation on FC25 and rank them in 4 tiers. I'll have a pros tactics code for all the formations that end up on the S tier by the end of the video. If you need coins to buy high-end players and make your dream team, you gotta check out lootbar.gg and their ridiculously low prices. Their prices are already 10% cheaper than any other platforms and I've got you another 8% off by using my code OMID. Plus, after you purchase, you receive a free 5% extra coins more than the amount you actually ordered. Many familiar faces in the content creators community are using Lootbar services, so you know you're in safe hands. And with a super fast and safe delivery system, you can have your coins within 30 minutes. So make sure to check out lootbar.gg and their amazing prices, and don't forget to use the code OMI to get that extra 8% off. The link is in the description. Now let's get down to the business, and first off we have the 4-2-2. It's quite a brilliant formation actually, but it doesn't quite make the cut to the top of the list. There are other variations of this formation that are simply just better, so 4-2-2 goes under the elite category. Next up is the 4-5-1 attack, the one with the 2 cams, and this one? Just don't do it to yourself, man. It's one of the weakest formations in the game. Div 10, I'm sorry, I can't rank this one any higher. But what I can and will rank higher is the 4-2-3-1 wide. Really good for controlling games, and those first time through balls are always there. So definitely that's an elite / champs ready formation for me. And then we have the 4-2-2, and I don't know, man. With the removal of comeback on defense instruction on FC25, this one shouldn't make it to the highest tiers of this list. But there's just something about the 4-2-4, the counter-attacks, and what a game-changing formation it is when you need a goal in the last minutes of the game. It goes to the bottom of elite ready tier for now. The 4-1-4-1 powerful formation. It might not be at that top level, but it's up there. It's up there with the better ones for sure. We got the 3-4-3 next, and you know, not enough options in the middle, lacking defensive stability. It's just gotta be Div 10. But then we've got the 5-3-2, and if you've seen any of the FC Pro tournaments, you know how broken this one is. Probably the best all-round competitive formation in the game. Goes straight into the S tier without a shadow of a doubt. But the 4-3-2-1, look how the mighty has fallen. It's still a playable formation, don't get me wrong, but you can no longer make it defend in a 4-4-2, and the cams don't make those darting runs forward anymore, so... should I drop it here? It breaks my heart, but I feel like this is where it belongs. It's still fun, but I'm not gonna go out and call 4-3-2-1 meta anymore, so yeah. And the next one is, oh my baby, the 3-1-4-2. I loved, and I mean I loved this formation last year. One of my best ever tactics on any FIFA. This hurts. The 3-1-4-2 is my baby, but right now it's a Division 10 formation, so that's where it goes. Moving on, and the next in line is the 4-3-1-2. It's a really good formation for direct play. Some pros actually use it, so it can be S tier if you really know what you're doing with it. But in general, a solid, well-deserved elite tier rank for me. Next up is the 4-4-2 flat, you know it has to be. Whether you're a casual player, a sweat, or a pro, it doesn't belong anywhere else but the S tier. Then we have the 3-5-2, and it's the same thing with all the 3 at the back formations this year. They're just not it. Not at least yet. The 3-5-2 with the 2 CDMs is slightly more stable at the back, so it's not a rank 10 formation, but with all the 3 backs, they're just not meta anymore. Then we have the 4-3-3 attack, absolute monster of a formation. I personally play the majority of my games with the 4-3-3 attack. I'm gonna say it, it's my favorite formation this year with the midfield congestion, the first time through balls. But if we're talking meta, I can't place it on the S tier simply because there is a better variation of this exact lineup that outperforms the 4-3-3 in every aspect. So it goes at the very top of elite tier for me. But then we have the classic, the 4-1-2-1-2 narrow, very similar to the 4-3-1-2 with just one difference. There is a CDM instead of that central CM, which actually ruins this formation defensively. You see, with 3 center mids, they all stay on a flat line which is really hard to break through. But when you replace the central CM with a CDM, they naturally sit deeper in defense and create a gap. The midfield isn't a flat line anymore, and for that reason, as good as the narrow is in the right hands, it's fun but not meta. Then we have the 4-2-1-3, and that's the better variation of the 4-3-3 attack I was talking about. A lot of pros use this, and it's a broken formation with 6 defenders, almost impossible to penetrate. And you got the 4 players always ready for a deadly counterattack, one of the best formations in the game, and it's not even a debate, S tier. Then we have the infamous 3-4-2-1, incredible formation in the past years. It's just not all that anymore. But as far as the 3 at the back formations go, it's one of the better ones. I don't know, I haven't played it this year, but I'm sure it's a fun formation, so that's me being generous. But then the 4-4-2 holding with the 2 CDMs, defensively it's rock solid. But for me it lacks the attacking support in the midfield, and I like the flat one better, in fact most people do. But you can't take away the aura from any of the 4-4-2 variations this year. It's a solid elite tier. Next up is the 4-5-1 flat, and it's powerful in FC25. The best midfield on the game, a monster in defense, like it's such a hard formation to break down, and the most similar attacking style to last year's 4-3-2-1. It's a top formation for me, easily S tier. Next up is the 4-1-3-2, another variation of a 4-4-2, and I'm a big fan of this formation. It's actually really good, but it's not good enough to make the top of the list. But it's most certainly a great choice if your midfield duo can't both play CM or CDM at the same time. Then we've got the 5-2-1-2, and I know it's a pro formation. It's super effective, but it's not casual friendly at all. You really need to know how to play it to get something out of it. The passing options in the midfield is lacking, it's tough to build up with, but nonetheless it's still a super strong formation, goes to the top of elite tier for me. And here it is, we got the 5-4-1, the most defensive formation in the game. Like, if you're winning and want to defend your lead in the final minutes, it's even better than the S tier. But in general, the offense is not there, it's a very one-dimensional formation, but perhaps the best at that, a solid elite tier. Then we have the 5-2-3, I had so much fun with this one a few weeks ago. It's a brilliant setup, a much better attack than the 5-4-1, but if I'm not being biased, is it really meta? I'm not sure where this one goes honestly. Nah, it's a 5 at the back, who are we kidding? Bottom of the elite tier it goes, but nah, calling a 5 at the back not meta would be ignorant. Then we have the 3-4-1-2, it's the same as 3-5-2, but the CDMs are now center mids, so it's better offensively. But the 3-5-2 already has a crazy attack, and the problem remains in the defensive stability. One of the better 3 at the back formations, but this one, so open at the back. Used to be a great formation, but right now it's a div 10 formation for me. Next up is the 4-3-3 holding. It's great on paper, but in reality, it lacks the firepower up top. The 3 attackers are all so isolated, it's fun but not meta. Then the 4-3-3 flat, and it's mid, it's just mid. 4-3-3 attack is better, defend is better, 4-2-1-3 is better. The flat is just mid, it's not meta in my book, so there it goes. Then we've got the 4-1-2-1-2 wide, and this one is all vibes. It's the OG super attacking formation from back in the days. You can still cook with this formation, it's super fun. You got the triangle of a cam and 2 strikers up top, wide players, a CDM. It's really fun, but then you lose so many games on this formation if you're taking it too seriously. This one is super fun, but surely not meta. And finally, we have the 4-4-1-1. It's a pro formation. Top players are using it, it's reliable, it's balanced, and the first time through balls are there. One of the best formations in the game, goes straight into the S tier for sure. And last but not least, we have the 4-2-3-1 narrow. The one with the 3 cams, it's another classic. The firepower is there, the defense is there, central players, wide players, everything you need in a formation. But it's just a matter of finding 3 cams that work in this setup that can be a challenge. And also I feel like left and right mids give you a better movement on inside forward instructions, I prefer the wide version to be honest, but this one still a rock solid elite tier. And that wraps up my FC25 formations tier list, and here you can see the pros tactics code for the top 5 S tier formations. I'll put these down in the description as well, make sure to give them a try. Anyway, that's it for today's video everyone, thank you so much for watching, please leave a like and subscribe, it would help out the channel massively. This is the end of this episode and hopefully I'll see you on the next one.